So today I am going to look at the concept of what's important to you and how you spend your time and how you invest your time. Now, I think those two statements are really interesting, and it's something that I've researched for a long time now and got right in my head. And people often talk about spending time, and I'm not quite sure you can do that now, because all time is like it's like a concept. All it is the ticking of a clock. All it is a moment. Very bad impression of a clock there, but that tick, tick, tick. All it is a measurement, just like money is. Money is a measurement. So the pound coin represents things. You know, we could change the pound coin for bananas, for example, and we could swap bananas for goods and services. But then, of course, what will happen is some bananas will go moldy, and then other bananas will be grown, and that'll inflate the value of things. So we have to have units to help us plan and strategize. So as I said, people talk about spending time. Well, I want us to sort of flip that idea and think about investing time, and particularly about investing time with things that are that important. And that's what I want to talk about today, is about investing time in things that are important. So let's go with the investment analogy rather than the spending analogy. Now, there's lots of work about how to work out what is important to you in your life. And there's lots of frameworks out there, and I do go into greater detail elsewhere. But if you look at Stephen Covey's book, for example, there's the time matrix framework. You know, it looks like Stephen Covey made that up. He didn't. People have been talking about importance and urgent for a long time in history. But, you know, it's a good starting point if you really want to put elements of what you do into a framework. I think the important thing to know with any type of framework, any strategy, any tips and tools, you have to own them for yourself. So you don't, I'm doing the Stephen Covey way. No. It's what Stephen Covey has helped and instructed you in, and you've learned from, and how you've made it yours. And I find over the years that's been most important for me. It's really learn, really model what people have done, but make it your own. So what I've noticed when I've been researching this over the years, and particularly the past couple of months, many tasks we put into our head and think they're urgent, but they're very, very rarely urgent. And I believe this happens for a number of things. One thing which is coming in all my research to the top all the time is the feeling of overwhelm, the feeling of pressure, the feel of putting off things because, it's too big, it's too massive, I can't cope with that now, and they really do appear urgent, but they're just massive, and then it moves up, and people put them off, and they become urgent and urgent and urgent. Also, people not planning and fixing their own deadlines, not working out how long things take and fixing deadlines to go and to get and do them. That over optimism setting in, where people think they can do loads in these periods of time, and then what happens is it squeezes out important things and they become absolutely urgent. And I have to say, I'm involved in a few projects at the moment, and I'm constantly reminding myself, one thing at a time. Set that timer, get that timer done, move on to the next. How long is this piece of research going to take? How long is this chapter of a book? How long is this training going to take? How long is this going out to meet people, getting out my office and talking to my colleagues? How long is that session going to take? Really thinking and planning. Another aspect of this is fear, and we all know what fear, F-E-A-R, false evidence appearing real. This is about the fear of not being able to put something off. So I'm given something and I've got to do it straight away. And that fear of not getting it done and disappointing people, you have to think about yourself in this. You have to think about what you're doing rather than the effects of other people. Also, with what encroaches on importance is other people's priorities that are dumped upon us. And they make it feel that they're your priority, that you own that problem, you own that task. And then other people's non-investment of time then makes things that you need to do urgent, and it's passed on to you. Now, the last two are solved by something called the art of delegation and monkeys, which I'm going to talk about next week. So I'm going to talk about monkeys next week. But let's look at those things, those strategies, those tips and hints here with regard to making it a little bit easier. Now, a lot of the strategies I talk about on these sessions are simple to say, but sometimes not easy to adopt. And you need to keep trying them and you need to keep reminding yourself. But, have a go at least one this week and see how that works, and put into the chat what your successes were and what you've learned about yourself and what other people can learn from you. So the first one for me is number one is the process of listing things down and then putting them in some type of order or some type of list. And I like to use the codes CUIB, and I'll explain what they are. So what you first do is list down everything that you're going to do next week or indeed the next month and go through it using the codes. So the code for C is critical. So basically, if you don't do it now, you'll be in danger or something will go drastically wrong for you. Maybe you're going to lose your job. Maybe you're going to really upset someone in your family. Maybe something's going to break. Something that's critical. So it's critical. It's got to be done. That's C. The next category is urgent. Now, did you notice I didn't put urgent first? The next category is urgent. This is something that has an imminent deadline. It's got to be done by that time. But it doesn't have to be really done now, okay? But it is time bound, so it does have a deadline. And what you want to do is look at those urgent things and set deadlines and complete them so they don't be critical. Okay, what about those things that are important? These are the things, the tasks or the projects that are important to complete but are not critical or urgent, okay? If you don't get them done though, they will become critical and urgent. So, for example, if you don't spend time with your family, if you don't look after your loved ones, if you don't look after your own health, if you don't find those things important, what's important to you, and you don't follow through on them, then they become urgent and critical, okay? And, many relationships are being ruined by not spending time with people, not doing, that bit of crucial reading before you go to a job interview. That, who's written a job application on the last minute and pressed, at 11:59 before 12 o'clock, you've pressed send and just got it in on the deadline. And then you go back and read it and it's full of spelling mistakes. You say some really silly things and then you wonder why you didn't get shortlisted. That's an important thing that's turned into urgent, that's become critical, okay? And yeah, I'll tell you, that's happened to me, okay? That's happened to me. And then the last category is bin it. Things that basically you don't need to do now. They're not urgent, not important. Now, you might want to bin it, put it in a physical bin, or you might want to file it. So it might go on the list. So, for example, if you've put on your list, go to Paris, that's great. It's not important, it's not urgent, it's not critical, but you might want to put it on your holiday places list. Or you need to buy, cornflakes for next week. It goes on your shopping list. So I'll just repeat in number one, because that's a big one. It is CUIB, and that's critical, urgent, important, and bin it. The next four are shorter than those. So number two, use post-it notes. Post-it notes to get over that overwhelm, okay? You need to protect yourself from overwhelm, I find, with the urgent category. So this is what I do, and I've done it for many years, is I've said to myself, and others have done it, that I've got 5 things to do today, and I'm going to get those 5 things done, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do 4, I'm not going to do 6, I'm going to get 5 things done. And what I do every night is I write them down on a post-it note and stick them on my phone, and then I have them ready for the next day. Some authors talk about if you do it the night before, it sticks in your head, in your brain, and your subconscious starts to work out how to do it in the best way. And I certainly find that. I wake up in the morning with ideas what to do. But what I do is I write them down and then I get them done. And then they avoid going on my urgent list because I'm constantly taking things off that list. Number 3, eliminate things you don't enjoy or try and find a way to enjoy them. So we know we all have to wash the dishes, don't we? Or we all have to load up the dishwasher. Now, I don't know if anyone on this group has got a butler or somebody or a maid or a person that does that for you, and that's amazing, well done, or you just eat out all the time and it isn't a problem. But I need you to think about, for strategy number 3, about putting the joy into things. The word enjoy, en of that word means make, and obviously joy means pleasure. So making pleasure. So tonight, when you're washing the dishes, please think of me. Hum your favourite tune, listen to some music, get the kids involved, dance, sing, and reward yourself. Get those little things done out the way so they don't go into your urgent time category. Or reward yourself. So, you've got that live Facebook. After that live Facebook, there's a cup of tea and a bit of a Victoria sponge cake for me, which is lovely. Other healthy rewards are available. Number 4. Now, number 4 is all about a new present I have bought myself. And what I want you to do is try and think about urgent tasks and important tasks that you can automate, okay? Get someone else to do it or get something to do it. Make it a habit. So, for example, an automation habit that I've got is when you have a shower, we've got that spray that you can spray in the shower that cleans the shower by itself, gets rid of all the gunk. It's eco-friendly and it's fantastic and it just washes away. But if you spray it in the shower, it cleans the shower for you. And then I don't have that in my my important job list of cleaning the shower every day. Yes, every sort of weekend might need a wipe down or whatever, but if everyone in the family sprays it, it's great. That's a very simple thing. Or invest in technology, invest in things that'll do it for you, and get that things out of the way. So I'm passionate about personal development, and I'm passionate about saving time, and I'm passionate about helping people. So I'm quite sad. I timed how long it takes to hoover downstairs or vacuum downstairs. I know that's sad, and I can see people in the comments already going to be putting things about me and my timing and vacuuming fascination. But I timed it takes to get the hoover out, take the cable off the thing, that thing, plug it in, do the hoovering, tidy up the cable back onto it and put it away. That takes 37 minutes for me. I don't live in a mansion, but 37 minutes to do that. And I thought, what? I could use those 37 minutes for something better. I could be recording one of these. I could be writing. I could be with my family. I could just be sitting and reading a book for 37 minutes. So I invested in, yes, a robotic hoover. They are the best things in the world. Okay. And some people might not be able to afford it, but I thought, what? 3 or 4 hoovers and that's 2 hours I've invested in myself. It's great. You press a button and it zooms around and it does it and it goes back to its little home. It's fantastic. So, if your birthday's coming up or you've got a holiday coming up and you want a present, I think about a robotic hoover. So for me, it's not all about robotic hoovers, but, my thought on is about automating things, doing things in order, setting up a habit, You pick up, so like before when I talked about my phone, I pick up my phone and there's my list of things. I take vitamins in the morning, and what I do is I pop them out the night before, put them in a small glass, put something over the glass, and then I simply put them in my hand, get a glass of water, and then eat those vitamins, and it's done. And I automate that task to remind me to do it. So, that hoover, if you want to use that as an analogy, basically get the fluff out of your life. Get someone else to help you get rid of all the fluff while you can get on with the important things. Strategy number 5. And this is the one that I'd love everybody to really take on board. And it's something I've learned over the years. It's about time for yourself. You've got to invest in your own time. Do what you enjoy doing. It might be walking, it might be Lego, it might be knitting, it might be painting, it might be sitting and staring, it may be playing with the kids or playing with the guinea pig or playing with, just taking some time out. And you have to schedule this because, what isn't scheduled doesn't get done. And if you're scheduling things, it's telling your brain this is important. We are human beings, not human doings. Now, I know that might sound a bit crass and a bit of old school, but actually just think about that. It's time to be sometimes rather than time to do. There's so much stuff that comes into our heads and our way. And when bombarded with lots of stuff, we can't possibly do it all. If you look at all the books that are in your library, and they're fantastic, But think to yourself, who's going to read them, and are you going to be able to refer to them, or is somebody else going to benefit from them? You know, look at the magazine that you get, and you've got a pile of them, thinking, "Oh, I'm going to get through them." Well, if you're not going to get through them, and you know, it's a waste of your energies, like your money energy, because I think money is an energy, as I talked about earlier. Then just cancel the subscription, read them, and then reapply the subscription. I do that with my Audible books. Audible, I love Audible, but you know, sometimes I just have too many books. So what I do is I freeze the membership for 3 months, and that allows me to go back and then focus on the books that I thought were important, rather than thinking, oh, I've got to purchase another book through Amazon because I paid for it. And we've talked about that before, that sunk cost idea, because just because you've paid for it, you've got to do with it. Well, the idea is stop paying for it. So they're my 5 strategies for focusing and helping you get the important things done, the important things to you. Here's a quick reminder. Number 1 was the task sort: critical, urgent, and important, or bin, or put it on a list. The post-it note example was number 2. Number 3 was eliminate those things that don't give you joy or make them into a enjoyable experience. Number 4 is my little rover Hoover robot. Fantastic. I've automated things. That's number 4. And number 5 is take time out. So I hope